Hey guys, welcome back. We have a new moon in Libra that we're going to be talking about today. This is an interesting lunar cycle. There's a very strong Jupiterian presence in our energy blueprint for our upcoming Libra season that we are about to start moving through. And I do think that we are entering a bit of a skin shedding phase. Leveling up, personal upgrades could definitely be a feature of this next 30 days, and you may find yourself feeling like an entirely new person by the time that we get to the end of this Libra cycle. I also think there are things going on here having to do with coming face to face with, or maybe conquering some fears or some limiting beliefs or a distorted sense of self-perception that may have been functioning as some type of block or held us back in the past in one way or another, that we are finally overcoming. Moving beyond. Transcendence, I think, is also kind of like a keyword associated with what we've got going on for this Libra cycle. And it's a journey, but it's also a master builder cycle. Very, as I said, interesting energetic dynamic that we've got going on for our Libra season this year. So let's get into it, you guys. We do have the new moon in Libra going on essentially to open our week this week. It is occurring on Tuesday, October 21st, 2025. 12:25 Universal Time, which translates into 8:25 a.m. Eastern Time, and the sun and the moon are aligning at 28 degrees 21 minutes of the sign of Libra. That is what is giving us our new moon each month, when the sun and the moon align at the same degree in the same sign. That is our new moon energy. The chart associated with that moment in time is our new moon chart. New moons are the seed planting phase, you guys, and whatever energetic dynamic is present for our new moon is what unfolds throughout the course of that specific lunar cycle. Right now we are in a Libra new moon, so this is Libra season, and this is a Libra season actually in a Libra new moon that is happening at the tail end of the sign. The alignment, as I said, 28 degrees and 21 minutes of the sign of Libra. So right off the jump, I feel like this is going to be a Libra cycle about endings and transitions, which is a theme that has been very, very relevant throughout the course, really, of this entire 2025 year so far, and definitely during our eclipse season that we are officially out of now. We have completed our double Virgo season that was also our eclipse season this year, with our entrance into Libra season. So we can put that eclipse energy in the past for now and move forward into this new energy. But again, something has run its course. Something has come to the end. We are ready. This is our page turning energy. And I do think that a lot of people are going to be reprioritizing things, seeing things differently, and ready to embrace some new process of growth or building, for sure, as we move through this next 30 days. As I said, very strong Jupiterian influence going on here. Jupiter is the planet of growth and expansion, among other things. And we're going to talk about all the other things in the report for today. But definitely, you guys, a growth and expansion oriented cycle before us as well. So I do think there is something here, though, that has to do with facing, conquering, or overcoming perhaps some of these deep-seated fears, emotional blocks, limiting beliefs, perpetuating cycles. This is a very cycle-breaking energy as well. And as I said, there is a master builder frequency that is coming in here. So it's not just the end of something, it's the beginning of something. And this is a long-term results type of energetic dynamic as well. I wouldn't go in expecting overnight success, but this is your efforts are rewarded in the long term with something that is sturdy, stable, abundant, successful, and has the opportunity to last a long time, to really endure, and to be kind of it is in some ways kind of like a legacy birthing energy right now. While on the other side of that coin, there are also legacies from the past that are being retired, being released, being completed. So endings and beginnings, still a relevant theme as we move through our Libra cycle. And rewriting an old script is kind of another way that I think we could conceptualize this. There is a very mercurial, mentalized energy that is very powerful and expansive right now as well. We have an exact to the degree Mars Mercury conjunction in the sign of Scorpio. That is trining Jupiter in the sign of Cancer. So like deep and penetrating mind, energized mind, like this X-ray vision, but also broadened perspective, bird's eye view, a like higher vantage point of perception. And this is also a very philosophical energy. So we've got both the ability to really kind of like see behind the scenes and under the surface of things that is emphasized and coming through here in some powerful ways, and also simultaneously the ability to like step back and observe like the greater unfolding story. So this is a very powerful like fusion of perspectives here that I do think are going to really help us gain some insight, answers, awareness throughout this period of time that are going to assist and facilitate like some transition that's underway, or help us to again like break out of some cycle of maybe limiting belief or self distortion that kind of like unlocks doors and opens us to opportunities and potential that maybe we hadn't seen or realized or just hadn't existed for us previously for one reason or another. So I feel like this is a mental, emotional, and a spiritual turning point here, transition point. The spiritual nature of things is honestly like quite strongly merged with the both mental and emotional realms. Like this is a very deep and spiritually oriented energy, and like I do think that the ways that the material and the spiritual are like almost merging throughout the course of this new moon energy and these next upcoming weeks that are represented by it could just present again some very like unusual or interesting, like maybe even like unexplainable, like spiritual type experiences that just have us reinforcing actually our belief in, you know, the unseen as it makes its presence known in like physical material ways throughout this unfolding period of time. And I'll talk about why I feel that way as I get into the transits as we move through this report. But I do think that this is like a level up. I do think there could be kind of like some challenge or final battle that we find ourselves needing to overcome perhaps before we do enter this new phase that is seemingly being introduced right now as well. This is more likely though, I think, to be a battle within than battle without, and we are very cosmically supported in our efforts to grow, expand, overcome, and be successful in the face of perhaps whatever it is that we must conquer as we move through this period of time. We're being gifted with a ton of mental energy. That Mars Mercury conjunction is lighting at least the mind on fire. You may find that your thoughts are kind of running a million miles a minute. You might find that you have some very passionate or inspired ideas going on. You could just feel very energized generally. Jupiter is also squaring the new moon. And this is also gifting us with the courage to face some of these things that maybe we had been hiding from, or that maybe had been like functioning as some type of block up until this period of time. There is a razor sharp mind, mental energy that is accompanying this as well. And as I said, this powerful spiritual immersion / revival that is also being indicated to me, merging the spiritual and the mental planes in some very real ways, contributing again to perhaps some of these like otherworldly or just unexplainable spiritual powerful experiences that could be quite eye-opening as we move through this. The veil between the worlds. So I was thinking about it this morning. I was like, it's not just thin, like it feels literally like the concept of tracing paper. Like almost we can reach into the spiritual realm and pull out exactly what it is that we need to assist us in our work or our process, or even in healing something somehow. I've been saying, you know, for this past couple of weeks, this is an excellent period of time to look for answers, to look for solutions, like true remedies, true healing, true problem solving strategies and stuff like that are very much available in this energy now and as we move forward throughout the course of this Libra cycle. And again, like the ability to really kind of extract this information from the spiritual planes, or even like dreams or sudden like revelations, or like a kind of just like knowing that comes over us. Experiences like that could be quite common. We have the South Node as this new moon comes together at 18 degrees of the sign of Virgo. That Sabian symbol is two girls playing within a Ouija board. And I feel like that is quite descriptive of the presence, or the kind of like collective aptitude to like reach into the spirit world and like extract very valuable, beneficial information that can help us solve problems, help us remedy conditions, help us break cycles, conquer fears, and like overcome maybe like those past limitations, or shift our mind in such a way that helps us to expand somehow once and for all. Because this really is, with all the Jupiter aspects, and Jupiter literally is making aspect to like 8 different planets. As I said, as we move through the report, I will tell you the details on all the planets that Jupiter's aspecting. But Jupiter is about expansion. Like there is for sure a cosmic push to facilitate expansion in all the ways. Okay. So if we are kind of like internalizing that energy and like making it our mission to embrace personal growth over this period of time, you're going to, I think, spontaneously have just like good luck or good fortune or things falling into place, or like just feel like there's an invisible hand opening doors for you because you're working with that flow of energy. So, the invisible, therefore, may feel just as real or just as powerful as the seen, the visible, and the material. And that could also be quite a trippy experience as we move through this period of time. But this does not, like this concept of the unseen being seen, like the normally unnoticed being recognized, that I was just explaining in terms of like the tracing paper effect and being able to like reach in and, you know, grab what we need in a way that we don't normally have access to like that. It doesn't only apply, in my perception, to like the spiritual or the like intangible like realms of things. Okay. I also think that this is implicating like puppet masters or orchestrators, choreographers, controllers, like people holding power and pulling strings behind the scenes, making things happen in certain ways, like orchestrating certain events and outcomes and stuff like that without their presence being known. This is opening the curtain and giving us, I think, kind of like a backstage behind the scenes pass at the true nature and expression of power in our lives and reality generally. So that could be playing out in many, many different ways. It could be literally like us coming to revelations of who's kind of like pulling the strings in our own lives, or what thought patterns and stuff like that are having the most power over us in terms of our own mind or our own subconscious programming. Or this could have to do with things on the macrocosm level and, you know, power sources of all kinds being unveiled. This could even honestly pertain to like inventions and stuff like that, or like hidden technologies, or like new sources of power or energy that are being like unveiled and coming online. Like it could be power being exposed that way as well, but like things to do with that which is normally unseen, that is a powerful driver of manifest reality, being glimpsed in very revealing and, again, like meaningful, transformational ways. The mind is incredibly powerful this cycle. Like I said, Mars and Mercury together. The black moon is there as well. We've got, oh man, people are not going to be afraid, I don't think, to face the shadows here. Okay. This is deep, this is passionate, and this is also an expansive emotional energy. potent energetic window for manifesting thoughts, ideas, and visions into reality. So we do want to make sure that we are using our mind and focusing on what it is that we want, and not allowing like obsessive fears to kind of like take us down or take us under. That would be a red flag of this energy. We've got this much creative potential that is centered in the mind, also in this like very shadowy realms of like the scorpionic black moon underworld type of energy. It does feel like we are the sculptors of our reality, and in quite an intentional way this cycle, and we need to release the fears and entertain possibilities, because if there's a fear of something, there's also the opposition to that, and there's no reason why the potential or the possibility or the miracle should hold less power in this energy than whatever the fear is. This is, as I said, a master builder energy. We're about to move through grand trine energy with Jupiter in Cancer, Saturn and Neptune in the sign of Pisces, and Mercury and Mars in the sign of Scorpio. That's big. Like, that's a lot of energy for being able to, again, like successfully establish or build or initiate, like lay foundations for something that is likely to develop into some type of long-term success that may be even bigger or better than we could have imagined when we initiated the process. Mars and Saturn in a trine together, if you guys have been following my channel, I always talk about that aspect as a master builder energy, because when Mars and Saturn is about control, it's about the frameworks and the foundations and the structures of things. And Mars is, of course, the way that we're using our energy. When Mars and Saturn are in a trine together, there is a way to channel and use energy that is so good, masterful at like building foundations that translate into long-lasting, stable, enduring, like generational like legacies of something, or they just become these tremendous feats of labor or work or production. This is an energy that honestly, like, people could be quite obsessive over whatever it is they're working on right now, but with that Jupiter energy as the third leg of this grand water trine, like the ability to translate a passionate like vision to bring the dream into reality, it's like out of this world. Again, that same concept, like literally being able to like reach into the ether and like pull it out and set it down, as long as like we're willing to maintain the vision, maintain the faith, make the changes necessary, like do what we need to do to like overcome the blockages and continue to persist, like continue to keep working for it, you know, even if there are fears that come up, even if there are insecurities that surface, even if reality would appear to label it as like an insurmountable task or journey or deed or creation. Where there's a will, there's a way, you guys, in energy such as this. And again, like, success is a likely outcome when we have Jupiter holding all of this down as well. So let's get into and go over some of these aspects now. As I stated a minute ago, Jupiter to me is the dominant energetic frequency of our Libra cycle, running the show here, the highlight of our chart, the most influential planet that we've got playing its role this cycle. Jupiter is aspecting 8 planets for our new moon. Jupiter is in trine to Mercury, Mars, and the black moon in Scorpio, Saturn in the sign of Pisces, Neptune, who is at 0 degrees and 1 minute of the sign of Aries for our new moon. Neptune actually retrogrades back into Pisces tomorrow on the 7th, the day after the new moon, which is another major energetic shift that we've got going on here. So there's 5 planets aspecting Jupiter right there. Jupiter is also in a perfect square to Chiron, which I talked about in my videos of last week. If you need to catch up on what that's about, that's where you'll find find most of the information about Jupiter square Chiron. But that was happening last week, and that is still exact to the degree for our new moon alignment that takes place on Tuesday. And aside from that, Jupiter is also squaring the sun and the moon, who are together in the sign of Libra for the new moon. So we've got Mercury, Mars, Black Moon, Saturn, Neptune, Sun, Moon, and Chiron. That is a huge Jupiterian influence going on, obviously. And in this grand trine, right? It's not exact right now, but it's getting tighter and tighter, and it's building. And again, this is an energy that's going to be with us throughout this next few weeks here. The grand trine in water, Saturn and will be Neptune in the sign of Pisces, and Mars and Mercury and also the Black Moon in the sign of Scorpio. So with all that Jupiter energy, obviously it stands to reason that keeping, to the best of our ability, a growth-oriented mindset is going to be beneficial. Both philosophy and also, I think, depth psychology, with Jupiter ruling philosophy and trining Mercury and Mars and the Black Moon together in the sign of Scorpio. Very beneficial, very productive, very healing. Again, like, there are some root issues to be gotten to. There are some core issues to be gotten to. We can literally kind of like take apart and reprogram our subconscious mind to get better results in our lives while this energetic dynamic is set up like this. There is a cosmic force facilitating and pushing for growth, pushing for expansion, pushing for liberation and truth, two other Jupiterian themes and keywords: successful outcomes and rewards for our efforts and our sacrifices. What we are willing to surrender, what we are willing to let go. This is also indicated. Neptune about to be in the sign of Pisces again, and Saturn in the sign of Pisces in the trine to Jupiter. Pisces has to do with release. This is a culmination point. This is an ending. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. Surrender and sacrifice in the trine to Jupiter. Letting go, coming to a point of like being ready to release the burden in some way, for some reason, somehow. Our ability to grow, expand, be successful, and achieve some like real true soul growth, soul gains, also being indicated here with these planets in their current placements. The new moon is also opposite Chiron. This is an energy that we talked about last week as well. This was when that energy of the sun and Chiron in opposition actually was exact. But our new moon in the opposition to Chiron, yes, is present, but this is also a waning opposition. There's a 4-degree orb between the position of Chiron right now and the position of the new moon. And, you know, maybe something that we are struggling with, or that we have been struggling with historically or in the past, could be coming up. But it may be in the context of how we have moved on, or that we're in a process of moving on, or that we have reached a point of like no return, or overcoming or conquering something. So yes, Chiron can bring up themes of pain, wounding, trauma, old childhood wounds, victimization as well, especially like in the sign of Aries. This can be a distorted sense of self-perception that originates from some type of childhood wound or trauma that has impacted the ego somehow, that perhaps has like diminished a sense of self-worth or functioned as some type of block to asserting ourselves or standing in our power. Self-empowerment is a part of the personal growth that I do feel like is being indicated as we move through this period of time. But again, breaking cycles, Chiron and Jupiter together specifically, has to do with like being released from some cycle of suffering as a result of sacrifice or wisdom, or just having come to the end of something and being ready to release and let go. Surrendering of some burden. With Saturn retrograding in the sign of Pisces and Neptune there as well, the surrender of something is highly beneficial in the context of our ability to grow. And the way that, this lineup is speaking to me, I do feel like whatever the issue is, or the wound was, or the pain was stemming from, or represents, whatever that struggle was, it just doesn't seem to be as much anymore. And it seems to be getting less and less and less as we move through these next upcoming weeks. So again, like shedding the skin or stepping out of the old reality or rewriting the script or turning the page, any way that you want to represent that to yourself in your own mind, like that's the direction. I feel like that's the concept, that's the theme. This is a Libra cycle. We got to keep that in mind. Even though Venus actually is one of the least energetically active planets, Venus really isn't making any aspects, and she's ruling the lunar cycle right now. But I do think, considering that and all of these other like energetic situations that we've got going on with Mercury and Mars and the Black Moon together, and this water sign trine with Jupiter and the square to Chiron, and Jupiter even squaring the new moon itself, and then Venus there just kind of like observing it all. I do think people could really be questioning the appearance of things, and an attraction and a magnetism to truth is also relevant here. Remember, Jupiter is very much associated with the truth, with wisdom, with faith and trust and belief as well. And this, I do not think, is going to be a shallow, surface level Libra energy. There is an inherent depth and intensity here. Also, the desire for something more with that Jupiterian presence, something bigger, something expansive, like being more or feeling more or experiencing more, something real, something authentic, and something powerful. This feels like, honestly, like literally being at that point in the Matrix or anything that could be associated with this, where you're kind of being given a choice whether you want to take the blue pill or the red pill. And I think this energy is leaning very, very heavy into the red pill category, like taking off the mask. There's especially also considering that we just had Venus go through this grand trine with Pluto and Uranus in air signs as well when she entered Libra, and that actually happened on the day that Pluto stationed direct. There's a reorientation going on in the context of true value over like the superficial value. So there is this magnetic pull, I think, to what is real, what is authentic, what is, again, like powerful, and what is of real value, but again, not just on the more like material level, but on like an authentic, deep, genuine, or even soul level. People are more likely than ever to be showing their true colors as a result this cycle, I think, for better or worse. And even if it's for worse, we're gonna come to realize that, it was actually for the better, because now I know, now I know what or who I'm really dealing with. So the revelation component of things here, I don't think is always going to expose like the most beautiful side of things, but I do think also that there is a willingness to embrace sort of like the ugly truth because of the clarity that it provides. And once we have that awareness, like now we can make a different choice. There could definitely be, along those lines, demons seemingly uncaged and just kind of roaming free this cycle. But again, like with that awareness actually comes power, because now we have the power to choose. When you don't know what you don't know. But when you do know, when you are aware, then you have the conscious ability to make a choice. And it is actually very empowering. And again, a lot of this has to do with self-empowerment and redirecting the future course of things through that process as well. I think the transparent nature of this energy and these times is going to reveal a lot as well. Transparency is another major theme here, and that is going to bring forth the opportunity, the need, or the desire to shift, change, transform, or to put an end of something. There's a lot of shifts that are going to be taking place throughout the course of this next couple weeks. As I said, by the time that we get to the end of this period of time, you might find yourself feeling much different than you did to get this lunar cycle kicked off. And, that's not just being represented through the very transformative energetic dynamics as they are presenting, but we also just have a lot of planets shifting and changing positions and signs throughout the course of this couple of weeks here. So as a result of that, things are likely to be shifting energetically within us and around us as well. And as I kind of just said, people are going to be, I think, learning to a greater extent some things that they were previously unaware of, which in many cases is going to have the impact of changing the game entirely somehow. Another element of this chart that I feel like is standing out quite prominently to me is this theme of the conscience playing a significant role here. I do feel like people are going to feel compelled to choose what is right over what is easy in this energy. We actually have the position of Mercury and Mars in their exact conjunction together with one another as our new moon comes in on Tuesday at 21 degrees of the sign of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is obeying his conscience. A soldier resists orders. And that's just one expression, although obviously a verbatim expression of this theme of the significance of following the conscience. But also with this Jupiter energy, Jupiter also represents the conscious and the morality, and in the trine to Mercury and Mars and Scorpio, also this like moral compulsion to do the right thing. So I do feel like that's kind of a heavy energetic theme that people are going to be dealing with as well. This deep inner moral knowing or compulsion that following the conscience or reinforcing the values or the morals somehow is the only way to defeat the demons of the past or the enemy within or without as we move through this period of time. Conquering our own demons, winning our own inner battles, and being successful in that is a major theme, but it's like this inner realization, I think, that in order to do that, we need to adhere to like our own higher nature. And I just feel like there's going to be some type of strong conscience, or like, who knows, maybe it's like a spiritual experience or just a higher knowing or something like that is, again, like compelling us or propelling us or like forcing us in that direction. There could also be some like instantaneous karma that goes on that maybe opens our eyes to that or orients us in that regard as well. Jupiter in the sign of Cancer, you guys. Cancer is the sign that is ruled by the moon. This is about the soul. This is like our energetic core, like our energetic roots, our energetic home base. Jupiter is growth and expansion, soul growth through overcoming emotional subconscious fears, blockages, and limiting beliefs with Jupiter trining Saturn. Soul growth through healing old wounds that have distorted our sense of self, perpetuated self-sabotaging cycles or states of victimhood. Jupiter squaring Chiron and Aries. Soul growth and spiritual refinement as well that reestablishes a sense of inner balance, harmony, and peace, enabling us to better align with and magnetize and attract what it is our soul truly desires for in terms of growth and fulfillment. Jupiter squaring the new moon in the sign of Libra. And it's about the journey, you guys. Jupiter is this expansive energy. Jupiter, the 9th house, Sagittarius, this all has to do with the journey. In the sign of Cancer, it's the journey of the soul. It's the soul's journey through a process of expansion and evolution in this lifetime. Like, that is what is being activated right now. We're not being allowed to continue essentially to like sleep on ourselves, okay? If there's like a purpose within all of us is to an extent being activated right now, and the best way to use this energy, to get best results, to gain the greatest amount of like soul growth and expansion and blessings associated with this, again, are going to be in our own process of embracing a journey through personal or soul growth, mental, emotional, spiritual, psychological, holistic soul growth. And Jupiter is also blessings, and Jupiter is also gifts. So that same process, that journey is also being recognized or being indicated to be a gift. And again, this is not instantaneous overnight success. This is about the hard work and the effort and the persistence and the belief and the vision and refusing to give up, essentially. Also the stubborn, determined nature of that Scorpio energy that is propelling the long-term legacy building, master builder, success, growth, gains, abundance that are also very indicated here. Now, let's talk a little bit more about this Mercury-Mars conjunction, because it is another energetic highlight of our Libra cycle. They have been, this is actually day 3 of the exact conjunction. They joined at 18 degrees of Scorpio, 19 degrees of Scorpio was yesterday, and then as we move through and into our Libra new moon energy today, they're at 20 degrees of the sign of Scorpio aligned together, and Mercury will move beyond Mars following today, or later in the day actually. But as our new moon comes in, they are still exactly aligned. This is a sharp, energized mind primed for penetrating insight, x-ray vision, obsessive thinking, mental deep dives, okay? And with the trine to Saturn as well, this could be like incessant attention to detail, like very, very narrow focus, kind of having like blinders on and just being wholly immersed perhaps in whatever it is that's captivating our attention. A relentless pursuit of knowledge, depth, insight, and understanding could come with this, along with mental and verbal challenges. Also, remember, Mars is the Lord of War. This can definitely be like a hot-headed, verbally aggressive and confrontational energy. Be aware of that. Like fierce, intense debates and arguments could definitely be a feature. Even a measure of verbal viciousness could be something that we see, experience, or are dealing with. People could be at each other's throats, especially if egos feel threatened or attacked. That is one thing that we need to kind of be aware of here. There's a very touchy, like testy, like hairpin trigger, or however that saying is, reaction when it comes to the ego, okay? And I've been talking about this in the last couple videos, but it's relevant because we have a Mercury-Mars conjunction. Mars is the ego, Mercury is the mind. Oftentimes when we have personal planets in a conjunction with Mars, there's an over-identification with whatever that planet represents, and if the ego feels threatened in any type of way in the context of what that planet represents, there, especially with the Jupiter going on right now as well, can be a feeling of entitlement in terms of attacking right back if we feel personally threatened or attacked. And with Mercury there, this is our ideas, this is our thoughts, this is how we're expressing ourselves, this is what we have to say, this is what we're talking about. So don't be surprised if you find people to be way overreacting and feeling personally slighted or personally attacked if for some reason you offer some feedback or they perceive you to be criticizing their thoughts or their ideas or how they're communicating or what they're communicating or what they said or what they've written or, you know, what is going on in their mind if maybe you don't even know what that is. Like, people are just more likely to feel personally attacked if their ideas are not embraced. So if you would like to avoid scenarios such as that, this may just be a good time to like kind of like bite your tongue a little bit or, you know, hold back if you don't absolutely need to give your critique of someone or something in a way that just may perhaps not be received the best. So something to be aware of. But a lot of the disputes and arguments going on right now are going to be like hypercharged, like people on fire, like all about the information war or verbal warfare, or again, like people just kind of going at it. With the black moon being there as well, things could get ugly. It's likely to be complicated. People could be very stubborn, very fixed, very dug in, even perhaps violent in their expression of things, but it's being exposed also, like I was saying earlier, for better or worse. Like it's all actually for the better here, because at least we will know what we're truly dealing with. This is a death of the facade type of energy that we've got going on, and with knowledge comes power, and specifically here, like the power to choose what we will and won't do, what we will and will not participate in, what we will and will not be attached to, or what we will and will not interact with the Libra energy coming through as well. This could also bring passion or motivation or fervor in the search of something, in the pursuit of something, like being on the chase. And it's a very, very powerfully creative energy as well. Very focused, intense, brilliantly strategic, very great laying plans, making strategies for future successes energy available to us, people seeking truth, people seeking depth. Again, this concept of transparency being so powerful and relevant. There is a strong moral and spiritual bent to the energy right now, as I was describing earlier. I do think people will be also looking to right past wrongs maybe, or to do better now that they have learned, gained an understanding, grown, or know better. Again, this compulsion to align with the higher self, even if in the past perhaps we have made different choices. Set goals, you guys. Make plans for success this cycle. Maintain the vision. Have faith in the vision. Act the vision, feel and act and behave as if you are already the person and already living the life that is reflective of whatever you are attaining to or whatever goal you're setting right now. Your efforts are likely to pay off in the long term. Great energy for any manifestation practices that you might have, do them. This is not, again, though, about like instant gratification, which may be a struggle for some people in our world today, but it is about being the tortoise. Okay, we're being the tortoise and not the hare. We do not need to do everything at once and burn ourselves out, but we need to like make wise choices and do what we know is right and work smarter and not harder. This is a quality over quantity type of energy, and it is about consistent efforts towards personal growth and self-empowerment paying off. Healing old wounds, breaking old cycles, facing fears, removing blockages, shifting our beliefs. This is the key at this point in time right now, leading to limitless expansion and possibilities this cycle. So shedding of the skin and having faith in our ability to be the exception. Like, this is a time for shedding doubt, okay? And if you can dream it, like if you can imagine it, if you can conceive of it, there's no reason why you can't build that in energy such as this, okay? So that is basically what I have to say for my perception of this Libra new moon as it comes in. I do want to talk about a bunch of symbolism that's associated with our new moon chart, though, because this is one of those charts that is just like every single symbol seems to be so aligned with the overall message that I'm extracting from the planetary positions present in our chart right now. So let's actually start with Venus, who is the ruler of this Libra cycle. Venus is at 10 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is a canoe approaching safety through dangerous waters. So this process of like conquering something, of overcoming something, of having transversed something, dangerous waters. These could have been, some turbulent or choppy emotions or some fears, but we are getting through it. Like we've made it through, we're getting to the end, and we're approaching a point of change. We have the new moon itself at 29 degrees of Libra. That Sabian symbol is mankind's vast, enduring effort for knowledge transferable transferable from generation to generation. So there is an emphasis on the power and the value of the mind and of the understanding and of the knowledge and of the impact that that can have in these legacies of the future that we are being encouraged to establish in this energy now. We have the position of the earth, the polarity point to our new moon at 29 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is the music of the spheres, which to me is the cosmic orchestra that is being represented by the energetic flow taking place between planets brought to us by our new moon chart. So I feel like that's a specific astrology reference right there. We also have the North Node right now at 18 degrees of Pisces. That Sabian symbol is in a huge tent. A famous revivalist conducts his meeting with a spectacular performance, spiritual revival, taking that invisible spiritual energy and making it like tangible in a way that is inspiring, and it can be, grasped onto and used as like a motivational force or as a form of comfort or as divine guidance or divine wisdom, a very powerful spiritual presence. On that same note, we also have the position of the black moon right now at 24 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is crowds coming down the mountain to listen to one inspired man. The Sermon on the Mount, same type of thing, this spiritual inspiration. And there could also be some like very significant or powerful or influential or motivational or inspiring like spiritual leaders or gurus or people that are just like carrying a very spiritual message right now that is uplifting and inspiring and reconnecting large groups of people with that spiritual presence in ways that is impactful and tangible in their lives. So both the North Node and the Black Moon really emphasizing that like spiritual revival, spiritual immersion, spiritual refinement, spiritual reconnection, spiritual motivation type of energy going on. I feel like that is being reflected powerfully in the aspects, and then they're also kind of repeated in the symbolism. Jupiter right now is at 25 degrees of the sign of Cancer. That Sabian symbol is a leader of men wrapped in an invisible cloak of power. That is the spiritual power bleeding through into the physical that is like facilitating or promoting our ability to step to like channel that from the the astral realms or the spiritual realms or the invisible world and really wear it in the material world in a way that is self-empowering and can have a profound impact on our lives and our experiences. So again, the power of the unseen demonstrating itself perhaps in some quite apparent or seen or noticed or just powerful ways. And this theme of power very consistent throughout all of this as well. Chiron is at 25 degrees of Aries. That Sabian symbol is a double promise, reveals its inner and outer meaning. Again, like seeing both sides of something, seeing things from the internal depth, but also the broad external overview, like bird's eye view perspective. So we're seeing things from the ground up and we're also seeing things from the top down, creating this kind of like holistic, broader and deeper simultaneously vision that is, I think, and that is revealing its inner and outer meaning, that is making things known, that is bringing some type of an illumination. And, whatever that revelation is, it does seem to be maybe re-inspiring us on one hand, helping us to see things clearly, helping us to both release and surrender something and be prepared to embrace something else, or just showing the true nature of things for better or worse, as has also been a theme of our report for today. We also, lastly, let's talk about the Mercury degrees. We're actually going to talk about all three of them, even though I've already said that where Mercury is for our new moon chart, 20 degrees, Mercury and Mars, 20 degrees with sign of Scorpio, which is 21 degrees in terms of the Sabian symbol placement, obeying his conscience, a soldier resists orders, and that's obviously quite powerful in the context of this conscience, morality type of energy that seems to be present here also. But we had the first contact, the first alignment of these planets on Sunday was at 19 degrees of Scorpio. That Sabian symbol is a parrot listening and then talking, repeats a conversation that it has overheard. So again, this could be, having to do with what we're learning, what we're discovering, what we're finding out, the flow of information going from one source to another. We had 20 degrees of Scorpio, day 2 of the Mars-Mercury conjunction. That Sabian symbol is a woman drawing aside 2 dark curtains that blocked or closed the entrance to a sacred pathway, which is another symbol that is right in alignment with everything that this chart is bringing to us. Some type of sudden revelation or something opening up or seeing the truth about something that perhaps had been hidden or obscured or blocked up until this point in time. But Mercury and Mars together with the black moon, like something is being opened or exposed, or we're seeing, like I was saying earlier, transparency, okay, is I think the word that I'm reaching for there. And then lastly, as I've already said, obeying his conscience, a soldier resists orders, which is right in alignment with all of this as well. And I also should say that whenever we are talking about Sabian symbols, we do round up a degree. Energy moves in waves. So we read the wave of energy that is coming in, not the wave that is waning out and dissipating. So all of these degree placements, when we're talking about the degrees, like for example, Venus is at 9 degrees and something minutes of the sign of Libra for our new moon, but that is going to translate into the Sabian symbol for 10 Libra. So if you heard me, if there was a discrepancy between the degrees, it's because the exact alignments are at 1 degree generally prior to the degree that we read for the symbolic placement. So that's what I have to say today, you guys. That's how I feel about our astrology chart that's associated with our Libra new moon. I'm going to get one more card now. This is a synchronicity card. I'm asking God, Spirit, Universe for one final piece of advice or guidance. What do we need to know? What will benefit us to tell ourselves or to keep in mind as we move through this cycle or this energy this week? And we actually got a rare 3-card synchronicity spread for our message today. 3 cards came out, so I'm going to read all of them. And they are all very aligned, in my opinion. We have stop, don't argue. We have decide. And we also have things are not as they seem. So let's read these cards. Stop, don't argue. The Lord shall fight for you, and ye shall hold your peace. Exodus 14:14. Don't fight or argue. Rest in the assurance God is working for you on this matter. Relax, let go, and know a divine solution takes place. Harmony will return. Behave now as if it is already before you. So I would say that fits really well into the way that this energy is playing out for us. Decide, and this was another theme of our report for today. With awareness comes the power of making decisions. So it says, and a house divideth against a house falleth. Luke 11:17. When you cannot make up your mind about something, you are battling in your own mind. Your house is unstable. Come to a clear-cut decision about a situation and follow what is good and right. Stick to that decision. Do not waver. Another one super aligned with the what may be challenges, but also perhaps what we're overcoming or what we are coming to understand throughout the course of this cycle. And lastly, we have things are not as they seem, and he shall separate them one from another as a shepherd divideth his sheep from the goats. Matthew 25:32. You must know the difference between the false and the true. Remove the false and negative thoughts from your mind. Come to a definite decision in your mind that God within you is all powerful and all wise, and nothing can oppose God. Remove fear, the false thoughts. They are not real. Know God is opening doors for you. Know the path is being cleared. No success and achievement is on its way to you so long as you remove the false fears, which is literally like, that was my whole report. So there it is, you guys. That's what I have to say. Stop, don't argue, decide, and things are not as they seem. So that's what I have to say today, guys. My perception of our lovely energy field out there and our divine guidance for the cycle. And I hope that you guys liked the video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, please give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, you guys, share it with your friends if you think they would also enjoy this type of astrology content. Leave me comments. Let me know what's going on with you out there. If you are having experiences that line up with or reflect what I am describing or discussing in this video or in any of my videos, drop me a comment, tell me about it, let me know. That is very valuable information to me. If you want to know what's on this whiteboard and see it better, I have a Facebook group where I take pictures of those boards and I post them, and that group is linked in my description box below. So if you want to find that, that's where you can find it. And come back with me, you guys, on Wednesday. We will be getting back into our weekly reports. We've got a lot of astrology going on this week. I know today was all about the new moon, but we really do have a lot of shifting vibes going on. Neptune is about to retrograde back into Pisces. That's going to bring a major vibe shift. We'll be talking about it in the next video, and I will be back to do just that and more, so you don't want to miss it, you guys. I will see you then. Wishing you a beautiful intro to your week, beautiful new moon in Libra, and until next time, bye guys.